Hello my Beatles friends! Thank you very much for attending this premiere. I am still in a holiday and this is recorded 5 days ago, maybe 6 days ago. Okay, so time to make another press review video, and this time it is Revolver. And I'm doing it very fast after Rubber Soul because there was a big gap, almost 3 months. So I decided to catch up, and I'm making this press review less than a week after Rubber Soul, so you can enjoy. Okay, so we are talking about 7 copies of Revolver album, and I'm going to be talking about Withdrawn versions a lot. So first of all, let's see what do we have. We have a British Mono Withdrawn version. We have once again British Mono Withdrawn version. These are 2 completely identical, so I will be referring to it as one. We have a Revolver Mono pressing, a first pressing. I mean the first one after the Withdrawn, first official. This one is exactly the same, so once again I will be referring these 2 as one. This is a German stereo pressing. This is a Brasil Mono pressing. This is American Mono pressing. And this is a misunderstanding from Russia. Something should be stereo. But this one I will be talking about separately. So in total we have 7 copies. Let's talk about the covers in my GoPro mode. The labels, we'll discuss everything in detail, what is withdrawn version, what is not, how to distinguish what's so special about the German and what's so special about the Brazilian pressings. And then we'll come back to this mode again and we talk about the sound. Now I'm going to be talking about the sleeves and the labels, and since I have 2 copies of each, I will be showing you only one of each. Okay, so this is the Withdrawn version. Now, the difference in the covers between the Withdrawn version and the later pressing, there is no difference at all. Okay, so this is the cover. That's the Parlophone logo. Here we have mono, and what's the most important thing to notice is that here on the song listing, where we have Dr. Robert, it is Dr. Robert. This is not going to change. Now we have flips here, and as usual printed and made in Garland the Loft House, patent pending, and the song listing and lead singer and the writers, and this is the picture in the studio. So standard sleeve. Now all the sleeves of the withdrawn version and the non-withdrawn version will look the same. Okay, so this is my second withdrawal version, so I'm not gonna open it because it's absolutely identical. Now let's talk about the vinyl record. How do we distinguish that it's indeed withdrawn version? So first of all, what do we see here? We see here gramophone, sold in UK, PMC, the catalog number, the song listing as usual, everything standard. Now, the matrix number on the side 1 is 605-2. I don't know if you can see it or not. I think you don't see it. But still, 605-2 is the matrix number on the side 1. And the side 2, here comes the difference. The matrix number on side 2 is 606-1. Do you see it? I'm not sure. Okay, so trust me, 606-1. And first of all, you have to look at song number 4, Dr. Robert. Okay, so if the label on side 2 corresponds to what is written on the sleeve, then most probably you do have the withdrawn version, and it has to be this design in these fonts. Okay, so that's the only 2 differences how you distinguish the withdrawn version visually. So now we're talking about the normal version, which is not withdrawn. As you can see, it looks absolutely identical. Here we have the logo, and here we have mono, And when we take it out from the shrink, we see here exactly the same patent pending, printed and made by Garden and Lofthouse. And here we see the catalog number, the song listing and everything. And if you look at the song listing here, Dr. Robert is still written as Dr. Dot. So this version also can be used in the Withdrawn version vinyl. Now let's look at the vinyl record itself. So side 1, absolutely standard, sold in UK, gramophone, song listing, everything is the same. And the matrix number on side 1 is 605-2. It remains the same, doesn't change. The change is coming on side 2. Side 2 matrix number is 606-2. And if we look at song number 4, you can clearly see that its doctor is written in the whole world. Doctor. It's not Dr. Dot. So that's the visual difference between the Withdrawn version and the normal version. Okay, that's it. So I will not open my second pressing because it's once again absolutely identical. Okay, now let's go to German stereo. German stereo looks like this. It doesn't have stereo here on the top. It has here the long logo of Herzu and Odeon and the catalog number in the front between Ringo and George. And the rest is the same. Okay? So let's take out and look at the back. Now, on the back, we don't have the white flips here. It's absolutely black. Here we have the big Herzu Electrola label, and the lead singer and the song listing and everything remains as it was. Everything is in English, and the song Dr. Robert is listed as Dr. Dot. Now, this is the original inner sleeve that came with the German albums. And let's look at the label. Okay, so on the side 1, and we have the song listing here, the Gamma, the Right Society, made in Germany as well, and here is the catalog number. And what's interesting in the Revolver version, only in Revolver, that we have Herzu label pressed upon the Odeon label. I've never seen anything like that in the other German versions. All the other German versions have Odeon red label and the Herzu is on the sides. But here Herzu is pressed upon Odeon. That's very strange. And what we have here, that Dr. Robert is listed as Dr. Dot. It doesn't say doctor. So that's the label, how it looks like the German. The German label is very distinguished because Herzu is pressed upon Odeon. That's what's strange about it. Here we are talking about mono version from Brazil. Now, Brazilian versions are very, very interesting because they are in plastic shrink, and you cannot take the plastic shrink out. And here they are cut. You see here cut, and it's like a gatefold, and it's been glued by plastic sleeve. So it's very interesting and very distinct cover, and I say that I like it because you know, the cover will never be damaged. You see, the spine is torn, so you don't have the Beatles Revolver written on the spine. But anyway, we have here the catalog number. We don't have any logo here, but we only have the year written in the bottom left corner. Now, on the back, we have the same picture, and we have here Odeon label, Odeon logo. Everything is in Brazil. Solista, I think it's lead singer. And here are the credits. Klaus Forman is the designer who made the cover, of course, and you can see Klaus Forman here. It's on all covers, not only here. And here we see who is the lead singer, the writers, and we see the pictures. So the back cover is standard. Let's look at the record. So here we see the same information as on the British one. Mono 1966, XEX 605, side 1, Odeon, Revolver, Beatles and white label. And the design looks almost like British, but it's Odeon and white. And here we see Industria Brasileira. I think it's made in Brazil. And if you flip, we can see that the song Doctor is written as Dr. Robert, so I think it's the first Brazilian pressing, and no other distinct differences. I've never noticed any misprints here or anything like that. So the only thing that I notice always that Dr. is changing from Dr. to Doctor. So that's the difference. And the matrix number of this thing is XX605. And site, no, wait a second. Yeah, XEX606, and side 1 is XEX605A. That's the interesting thing. Yeah, and on the side B there is no letter, it's only 606, that's it. So this is the Brazilian version. So here we are with the American Capitol. It has catalog number here T2576, and the picture is pasted over. And here we have a Capitol logo. My version is in a trashed condition, very bad condition. So I'm not gonna show you the cover because it's pointless. And what do we see here on the Rainbow Capitol label? It's a standard. We don't have stereo here because it's mono. The only thing that we have is the Revolver, the Beatles, recorded in England. On the rubber sole, you have to notice that on rubber sole there was no Beatles. There was 4 names of the band members. But here we have the Beatles. That's interesting. So this is the catalog number, and that's it. And American version is 3 songs short. So that's the only thing that I wanted to mention. So it's a mono US pressing. And the last and the least, here we are talking about the misunderstanding from Russia. It's completely disastrous pressing with a very flimsy bad paper. And what can I say? Disastrous paper. And if you compare to the original George Harrison eyebrows, he is here like multiple hairs, and here the hair has been cut. So George Harrison made a haircut before this Russian cover. But that's not the only disaster. Klaus Furman is being replaced by some other Russian guy who thinks himself an artist. And what can I say, man? If you look at George Harrison's lips, his original lips has been replaced by some female lips, which is not as wide as the original. So George Harrison and his eyes also change. So George Harrison is made more like a woman. Complete disastrous cover. And not only that, the others were not changed, but the design, like a waterfall, is completely changed. All the pictures are replaced. So this, just compare. John in the center and John in the center taken from How I Won the War. This is taken from the MBE recipient event. The Ringo is replaced by George here, and I don't know. This is just a funny thing actually, and yeah, and somehow Stuart Sutcliffe appeared here from somewhere. I don't know why. What does it have to do with Stuart Sutcliffe? But anyway. And, so somebody made a joke out of it. In Russia it was unofficial and nobody's going to control it. Nobody's going to sue for, copyright infringement or something. So they said, hey, why not? And he replaced Klaus Vormann's face and he put himself here. So, and this is the logo, and a completely disastrous thing. And this is made as a gatefold with the Sgt. Pepper, so there is no back sleeve, back cover. On the back we have Sgt. Pepper. So, completely trashed cover. And the record kind of looks okay. It's flimsy and it's thin. And this is the, unofficial label with Antrop, and what can I say? The sound is okay, but I'm going to be talking about the sound, but now I have nothing to say. It's completely disastrous. Okay, so somebody who respects the Beatles and respects himself would never do such a lousy work. And you can see that it's been very, very poorly cut. You can see white dots, and you can see that the pictures are taken from different occasions, different pictures, and the lights. The one picture is brighter, the other one is darker. This one you cannot almost see the faces, and this is the dark face. This is absolutely not professional work. And why was the need to change George Harrison's face? This I simply do not understand. Okay, so I hope that nobody will ever play with Beatles covers. Okay, so let's go back to the normal mode and speak about the sound. Alright, now we saw the differences in the covers and the labels, and now it's time to talk about the most important, about the sound. So once again, I'm back with my notebook, and we're going to be talking about the sound. Now, like I said in the beginning of this video, the two withdrawn versions I'll be referring as one, and the two normal versions also I'll be referring as one. So we're going to be talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 different sounds. Okay, so first of all, Revolver UK Mono Withdrawn version. As we saw, the matrix number on side 2 should be 606 minus 1. What do I hear? The voice centered, very loud, very clear. The high frequencies are okay, the basses are okay, the low frequencies are okay, so everything was nice and clear, no background noise. I really like this one. The basses are okay, especially And Your Bird Can Sing. You can hear the basses like booming, so it's wonderful sound. No complaints about British ones. That's exactly what I expected, so it gets 10 out of 10. And we go to the UK Mono version 2, which is the normal pressing after the withdrawn. It's almost the same, loud and clear, high frequencies are okay. I had to lower my my speakers in order not to get deaf. So once again, this one gets also 10 out of 10, wonderful pressing. Now let's talk about the differences between the mixes of Tomorrow Never Knows. That is the most important. First of all, I've noticed that the withdrawn version, Tomorrow Never Knows, is 6 seconds longer. It's 2:56 and the other one is 2:49, even 7 seconds. You can clearly hear the differences. The fade out on the withdrawn version is longer than the regular. The tape loops in the instrumental sections are different. If you can clearly hear that, if you go deeper into listening to that, you can notice. And also when Lennon starts to sing, turn off your mind, relax and flow downstream, these first two words are not affected in the sound effects. The sound effects only starts after the third word. The later version starts the effect from the first word. So that's easy to distinguish. Like I said, the tape loops are different, and I noticed that the fade out playback is cut. And on the withdrawn version, it lasts at least 4 or 5 seconds. Okay? So in order to understand the differences, you have to listen to it very, very carefully and precisely. In the instrumental sections, the tape loops are different. Okay? So for the casual listener, he will not notice that. But since you know there are differences, you have to go deeper and listen to it. I've listened to the withdrawn version like 5-6 times, and when I listen to the normal version, I can easily hear the difference in the tape loops, okay? And the sound effect on the lyrics, and the fade out playback is also longer, okay? So this is only for somebody who has patience and wants to know the differences, okay? So just for your information, if you do not have the patience to sit and listen to it, I'm telling you, okay? Now we're talking about Brasil Mono. First of all, I'm going to finish all the monos, and then I will be talking about stereos. So we are talking about the Brasil Mono. What can I say about this one? The basses are okay. The low end frequencies are okay, but a little bit lowered. Not as much, but a little bit lowered. Generally it's loud and clear and centered. So normally I'm giving it 9 out of 10 because the sound is not as good as the British. Okay, now we're talking about USA mono version. My cover is completely trashed, so there is no point talking about the cover. But what I don't like about Americans is that the covers are thick cardboard and it's very easy to tear them. But anyway. Now, sound is okay. I like the sound of it. Centered, basses are okay. A little bit softer sound. A little bit softer, which means that just like the Brazilian mono, the lowered frequency, the bass frequencies are a little bit cut. A little bit. Not as loud as the British ones. Feels like a compression on both Brazil and USA. And high and low frequencies are also okay. I mean, I was really impressed by the sound of America, no complaint. But my USA copy gets 7 out of 10 because it's 3 songs short. Okay, so I give it 7 because 3 songs are missing and the cover is very easily damaged. So let's talk about the German stereo. The voice is coming from the left. It's clear, but once again, like I always say, the white and golden labels of Odeon are not as loud as the others. I don't have any other German version to compare, but I compared it with the British one. I put it one after another directly, and you can easily hear the sound. It's like you lowered the British almost half. That's the maximum sound of the German. So I don't like the sound of it, but it's compressed from low and high frequencies. It's compressed, of course, and no background noise. The sound is softer and not as loud, just like I said already, but all the sounds is in balance. Nothing sticks out, nothing hits you in the ear. I mean, the voice is made here softer, you know, to make it easy listening. But anyway, I give it 8 out of 10. I mean, it's okay. Because of the label is very rare, I give it 8 out of 10. And the Russian misunderstanding that has to be stereo. I mean, the cover is completely zero, trashed. I don't like the cover. But to my surprise, the sound on the vinyl is not so bad, because this vinyl is made on the older factories of Soviet Union, and those qualities are okay. Now, the voice is coming from the left, and you can clearly hear all the instruments coming from the right, so it's been distinguished, very pointed out. And it's loud, the basses are a little bit missing, the lower frequencies are cut, it's a bit compressed, and also made it softer, okay? If you want a very loud Revolver, it has to be the British one. The British one just tears you apart. All the others are made softer. Okay, so the sound of the Russian, I give it 8 out of 10. and comparing and calculating this with the cover, I give it 4 out of 10 because the cover gets 0. So I wouldn't say that the Russian album should be considered as the official Russian. It's just a pirate, just the bootleg version that somebody did with his own money, without any permission, without anything, and he could do whatever he wanted, just like he did with the cover. Okay? So, that was it for Revolver. And as you can see, I don't have many differences in Revolver. I don't have UK stereo, which is a very bad thing actually. I have to get my UK stereo. And when I'll get it, I mean, what I intend to do, in many albums I miss stereo versions. So when I will get all my stereo versions, I will make a separate video about Beatles UK stereo catalog. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, please press here on the blue button. Subscribe, and see you in my next video. Next video is going to be Sgt. Pepper, and Sgt. Pepper is going to be very, very, very difficult video to make, very long, because I have at least 12 copies from different countries, on picture disc and everything. So I will announce the premiere like 5 days, 6 days before, so you can prepare some popcorn and enjoy. Okay? Thank you very much for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye bye.